Hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast Dougie Doug. In today's episode, we'll be discussing Friday Night Smackdown, February 2nd, 2024 edition. And even though the Elimination Chamber is the next premium live event coming up for the main roster, well, WWE wanted you to forget about that for a second and instead focus on WrestleMania. We have our first match made official for that event, and we also had a pretty interesting, to say the least, conclusion to this show. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the action, starting with Logan Paul kicking off SmackDown, followed by Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory. So Logan Paul did the usual bad guy shtick of, celebrating his win, and then when the good guy calls for a rematch, Logan Paul basically says no. So that's pretty much how that one went. And then the match itself between Owens and Theory, well, no surprise, this was a good match when you have two quality and ring competitors of long histories of delivering between the ropes. Theory controlled enough to retain his status as an upper mid-carder who can mix it up with any opponent, while Owens fended off interference from Paul and Grayson Waller to pick up a hard-fought victory in which he outsmarted his opposition. Owens would chase Paul to the back and stood tall among people to close out a solid start to the show. So Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens 2, you know it's going to happen. The question is, when does it happen? My guess would be Elimination Chamber. I imagine Logan Paul is going to be part of that show, and if so, why not? Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens 2 at Elimination Chamber. Let's run it back, and maybe let's go out the brass knuckles this time. Fatal 4-way tag team contenders match. So these ones can be a bit tricky because there's just so many moving parts, but the way WWE booked this one was pretty well done. The match featured non-stop action from all four teams, each getting an opportunity to shine en route to the British Strong Style tandem, earning the win. The match not only highlighted what is a talented tag team division on Friday nights, but also allowed individual feuds to shine, like LWO and LDF. Those tandems still have unfinished business. The feud with Pretty Deadly and Bate and Dunn continued here. Don't know if that's still an ongoing feud, but it certainly got revisited in this match. That wasn't a show-stealing match, no, but it still made for an entertaining sprint of a match full of athleticism and the right team going over. So Dunn and Bate will take on a team from Monday Night Raw, and the winner of that matchup will challenge the Judgment Day at Elimination Chamber for the tag team titles. Bayley makes her WrestleMania decision. Now, I gotta be honest, I don't necessarily always like a WrestleMania decision being made before Elimination Chamber. I think it would be better to do it after Elimination Chamber, but so long as Iyo Sky is not defending the title at Elimination Chamber, I'm okay with this. And Bayley made her choice, and that was Iyo Sky. She thought about Rhea Ripley, but surprise, surprise, Bayley knows Japanese, knows it, speaks it, understands it, and she figured out that damage control was turning against her, which was easy to see once Asuka and Kairi Sane joined the fold, and a 3-on-1 beatdown would ensue. But Bayley, citing her veteran experience, was able to fend off that beatdown with the assistance of a lead pipe, and she laid down the challenge to Iyo Sky for the showcase of the Immortals. This was a well-executed segment, and started a callback to the demise of Evolution, where Batista overheard Triple H and Ric Flair talking about him behind his back, and then Batista would later on cut ties with the group later in the show. So very similar to that. Bayley had the people on her side here, and she will be the fan favorite when she takes to the Squared Circle in Philadelphia for what could be the biggest match of her Hall of Fame career. Her first singles match at WrestleMania, which is surreal to think about that. Bayley's been in WWE for as long as she has, and has not yet had a singles match at WrestleMania. And then the show closes out with Cody Rhodes' decision, and well, with honestly, did Cody even make a decision? I don't even think he made a decision. Well, I guess he made a decision to step back. But, with the ending of the show, the year-long journey back to WrestleMania, and the undisputed Universal Championship victory that eluded Rhodes at last year's WrestleMania, well, that journey, all that talk about finishing the story, all that booking that one in to set him up to finishing the story, appears to be all for nothing. Worst of all was how this segment was booked, as it made no sense and disrespected Rhodes, who had already put the work in by winning the Royal Rumble to set up his match, or to set up round 2 of Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So why would Cody allow himself to take counsel from The Rock? Well, maybe not take counsel from The Rock and simply walk away from his WrestleMania dream because the Great One advised him to. Now, I don't know if that's actually what he said, but the way that they booked this segment sure made it look like that's what he said to him. Monday Night on Raw will probably be WWE's best attempt to try to make sense of this conclusion, because that, coupled with the fact that Reigns responded to Seth Rollins' criticism by cooking him on the mic and the World Heavyweight Championship as well. I mean, that was mean right there, straight up mean. Not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying that's what it was. But yeah, Roman Reigns' response makes a showdown between the Visionary and Rhodes less appealing than it already was. Now, there's no denying electricity between The Rock and Reigns in the show, but to book that ahead of a match featuring a top good guy that was a year in the making feels like a long-term creative misfire. So, I haven't lost complete faith in WWE. I'm not just throwing up my hands and saying, well, everything's screwed. I'll give them a chance, and I'll see how this plays out. The initial feeling is I don't like it. I just don't like it. In conclusion, this was a Road to WrestleMania episode of SmackDown. It featured the return of The Rock and the setup for what is almost certain to be a main event clash with Roman Reigns in Philadelphia. The revelation that Bayley knew what Damage Control was up to all along in her official challenge to Iyo Sky for WrestleMania, and introduced some new faces with questions about which brand they will call home. Add to that a spotlight for Logan Paul and his feud with Kevin Owens, the fact that ongoing stories featuring LWO and Legado del Fantasma, as well as Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament not being cut for time to help to make this one of the best episodes of SmackDown in 2024. That finale, though, needs some serious explanation. And with that will conclude this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below.